Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I am an entrepreneur and investor, and I have been invested in the Iraqi dinar since 2011. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I am just giving my own opinion on the Iraqi dinar and where I believe we are at and what I see coming in the near future. So really the purpose of this video was to just kind of go over the timeline as far as where I think we're at, and having had been involved in this investment for about 15 years now, it has been a very, very long wait. The crazy part about that is I'm actually very thankful that it has taken so long to happen, because if the Iraqi dinar would have revalued in 2011, or maybe within a few years of me purchasing and investing in it, I think I probably would have blown the money by now. And that's just me being 100% honest. Over the last 15 years, I've started a business. I've learned a lot about certain investments. I've become wise, like most of us do as we get older, and I feel like I am in a very, very good position to know what to do once the Iraqi dinar does revalue, which I believe is hopefully soon. Now, I started this channel about maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago. I just felt kind of a nudge to start talking about the Iraqi dinar, which for me is, very, very different from anything that, I've been feeling beforehand, because for the last 15 years or so, I've really kept this investment to myself. Only a few people in my life know about it, one being my wife. But I haven't shared this with anyone. I haven't told friends or family members to go out and buy some, because I understand how much of a faith-based investment the Iraqi dinar is. And I know for most people, it's not going to make sense. How do you explain to someone, hey, go buy $100 worth of Iraqi dinar? It could possibly be worth $100,000 overnight, right? For your average person, that seems like complete gibberish. And I felt the same way when I first got involved with this investment. I thought it was completely nuts. I actually pushed back on it. I didn't believe it until I had a dream one night, and that's when everything changed for me, right? But having started this channel, in the last few weeks or so, it blows my mind how many people comment on these videos that I make that had maybe bought some Iraqi dinar years ago, and then for whatever reason they lost faith in it. They lost, they just lost the faith in this revaluation ever happening, and they sold it, and now for whatever reason they stick around and they feel, like they want to comment on my videos, telling me and telling you guys who comment that we're crazy, we're nuts, it's never going to happen. Like, what are we thinking? But I'm often reminded of, the Israelites walking around in the wilderness, right? Like being in the wilderness for 40 years. And a lot of us investors, some of us have been involved in this investment for, close to 20 years now. And I truly believe that if God led you to invest in the Iraqi dinar, then he probably has sustained you and has allowed you to have that faith to stay involved and to hold on and not let go, right? And I think there's a lot of people who maybe were not Christians to begin with, or were not led to the Iraqi dinar, from God, who just had a conclusion one day that, hey, this isn't going to happen. It's all hype. It's all a scam. It's Alopium based. I'm selling. Well, that's fine. But I truly believe for those of us who are invested and who are still invested, I truly believe the time is getting very close. And I think we have some exciting things to look forward to. Now, I want to talk about a few geopolitical things that are happening around the world right now. Things that I'm watching very, very closely, things that are making headlines in the news. Actually, the entire news cycle right now is Iran, right? Iran, Iran, Iran. I mean, for the last few weeks, we've been hearing that we might be going to war. We, meaning the USA, where I'm based, might be going to war with Iran. And I'll be honest with you, I think it's long overdue. I think the Iranian regime is demonic. I think they need to be just, overturned. I think they need to be toppled. And I was hopeful a few weeks ago when I saw their own people, protesting against them and rising up against them, that the America was going to step in immediately. But I think Trump is, whether you love or hate the guy, I think he's a lot smarter than most of us give him credit for. I think Trump had every intention of attacking Iran, and then someone close to him or one of his advisors told him to hold off for now, right? Like, you remember a few weeks ago when Trump said help is on the way, and then what happened? Pretty much nothing, right? But I think Trump wanted to give the illusion that we were giving Iran as much rope as we possibly could, saying, look, we tried to negotiate with them. We tried to give them every opportunity we could, and they simply would not negotiate. They simply would not put their nuclear, nuclear program, on hold. I did everything I could, so it's not me. They did it to themselves. I truly believe that's what Trump is, wanting the illusion to be to the world, like, hey, we didn't just go in and strike Iran. We gave them every opportunity to, to stop their nuclear program, but they didn't want to, and this is what had to happen. So let's talk about some time frames as far as where I think things are at, and how close or far do I think we actually are. And again, this is my own personal opinion. Do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. I'm just giving you my honest feedback as far as where I am seeing things, okay? So I believe that Iran and what's happening in Iran is directly tied to the Iraq dinar currency revaluing, okay? We've known this for a while. The Iranian regime has had their claws in Iraq for really since the beginning, since the USA went into Iraq, and since we invaded Iraq back in 2003. The Iranian regime has been involved. They've had their claws in. They've had proxy politicians in there. They've had proxy militias in there. I mean, they really have been controlling Iraq, without technically controlling Iraq, right? So I do believe this toppling of the Iranian regime is really the first domino that's going to fall. And, not to bring prophecy into this, obviously I'll go over some common sense things we're looking at, but also just to kind of highlight some prophetic things as well. A lot of prophets who I have followed, who have been proven that they are legitimate, have stated that, God has revealed to them that, the Iranian power or the Iranian influence has had their claws on the country of Iraq. And as soon as that topples, as soon as the Iranian, regime or, power players topple, that's when their claws are going to be released off of Iraq. And that's when Iraq is going to be able to rise again as a prosperous Babylon. Again, this is all going off what the prophets have said, and not just one prophet. Many prophets have essentially prophesied the same thing, right? So now put that aside and let's just look at what we're seeing right in front of us, right? We're seeing Iran in the news. We're seeing the USA right now. We have the biggest militia buildup, in the Middle East. I read a report today. This is the biggest military buildup in the Middle East since we invaded Iraq in 2003, right? So over the last, going over 23 years, this is the biggest militia buildup we've ever seen, okay? It was in the news today that it's looking like we're going to strike Iran pretty much any hour now, any second, right? Like that's what it's looking like is going to happen. I'm personally going to bet that the USA is going to strike Iran within the next 48 to 72 hours. Okay, it's Wednesday today. I would be shocked if we haven't struck in Iran by the time the weekend is here. That's just me putting it out there. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying that's going to happen. So don't hold me to it. I am just sensing that we're probably going to strike Iran in the next 48 to 72 hours. Okay? And when you see that happen, that's really going to be the beginning of what we're looking for as far as the Iranian regime toppling. And I truly believe we're going to see some movement in the Iraqi dinar after that. Now, how soon after that happens am I thinking the Iraqi dinar will revalue? Is it going to happen immediately? Is it going to happen the next day, the next week, the next month? I really don't know. Okay. But one thing I can tell you is I truly believe that once the Iranian influence is out of Iraq and the Iranian officials are, completely washed from Iraq, that's when I believe things are going to ultimately happen. Okay? Again, this is just my opinion, but nonetheless, this is pretty exciting to see. I truly believe we are at the end of this long, long road that a lot of us have been on. And, going back to what I was saying before, I never wanted to make YouTube videos on the Iraqi dinar. The reason why I started was just because I felt this download one day, or this knowing that God kind of put in my heart to just film my first Iraqi dinar video talking about how I got involved, the dream I had, and then I just felt led to keep making these videos. And another part of that too is because I was so tired of these scam artists and these these other dinar gurus, if you want to call them that. I personally think they're dinar idiots. that have made this investment look foolish and look silly, and they've made this, investment look like it's a non-viable investment, right? They claim that it's going to revalue every day. The Forex screens are blinking 480 tiles. Like, these people are a bunch of clowns, and they've been disproven after day, and they are shameless. Okay, imagine saying something's going to happen day after day after day and being wrong day after day, and then still showing up to make more videos. Like, why would you believe them? It's like the boy that cried wolf. Why would you ever take advice from someone that has proven they are constantly wrong? Like, it boggles my mind how these people have a YouTube following of 50,000 people that show up and listen to the same BS spewed every single day. It just pisses me off, if I'm being honest. But again, the reason why I started making these videos in the first place was because I truly felt like we are close to this ride being over. And I think a lot of us need some direction, or need some, just encouragement, and, some common sense advice too, for when it does happen, what to do, how to exchange, what banks to go to, all of those things, right? So, I think we're close, guys. If I'm being completely honest, I think we are very close. I think it could be weeks away. I think it could be months away. And again, we could still be years away, right? I don't know the date it's going to happen. I wish I did. I don't know the rate it's going to happen at. Could it revalue at 50? Could it revalue at 82 cents? Could it revalue at 385? None of us know, right? We're all speculating here, but I truly believe that we are close to this ride being over. And I just feel it. I don't know how else to describe it. I just feel the sense in my spirit that we are close to this ride being over with. It's funny, today I actually messaged a few family members who I have never told about the Iraqi dinar, and I texted them, hey, do you know anything about the dinar? Have you ever heard of it before? And I actually, encourage them to go buy some, because I do think we are that close to this happening. And I think it would be a cry and shame if they were not part of this, this blessing that's about to take place. So that's my 2 cents. Take and do with it whatever you want. I personally do not care if you own dinar or not. I personally do not care if you're invested in the dinar or not. But I truly believe that for those of us who have been led to it, through a dream, through God, just kind of pressing, us, that it's something to get involved in. I think that we're all going to be very, very, very happy very soon. So I'm going to finish this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow, I have an exciting video coming out. I'm going to be interviewing a former IRS agent about some of the taxes and the tax implications, and, the tax rates that we possibly might be looking at once the revaluation takes place. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel to get updates on when that video is going to go live. And I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll chat soon in the